ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा ॐ सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. Shankaracharya is currently addressing the question put by the Shishya on what is Anatma. So Shankaracharya takes up the dearest and the closest anatma, which is one's own sthula shariram, the body. And through the body is panchabhautikam, we all know that. And through the body, one is interacting with the panchabhautikam jagat. So this entire world is really the world of sense objects. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, and how they are the vishayaha. Then how the vishayaha bind the jiva. Now, the Sanskrit root in the Shabda Vishayaha means Badnati. Badnati is to bind. So, in Vishayaha also, what is hidden? The word Visham. So, Acharya said this is the Vishama Vishaya Margaha. Vishama Vishaya Margaha is like slow poison. The one who is devoted to only worldly existence and pursuing worldly pleasures, that is the Vishama Margaha. Why? Because it robs the Viveka away and it will lead to wear and tear. Enjoyment will weaken the senses and weaken the Viveka power, will be clouded, and it will take us away from the Moksha Margaha. So, Acharya said there are two kinds of wealth. The physical, tangible, visible wealth, what will it do for us? It can purchase Vishayananda. Vishayananda and balance is fine, we are not against it. But the true inner wealth of Daivi Sampatti, that is the only wealth that can purchase Atmananda. So we saw a number of qualities there, Damaha, then Kshama, and Vivekaha. All this is to be cultivated. And so Acharya says, let us examine the Sthula Shariram. So Sthula Shariram is very intelligently put together. All the functional units like Majja, Asthi, Snayuhu, Meda, fat, and bone marrow, bones and flesh and all this, it's all covered up very nicely by the skin. So when we have the Deha Abhimana eva mrityuhu, Acharya says. So if we go on nourishing, do poshanam of this body, skin care, hair care, nail care, dyeing the hair, this is what we see. So if we are obsessed at the body level, then it is the moha. That is called the moha, because the body is a bhoga ayatanam. Body has been gifted by Ishvara for exhausting a set of papa, punya, karma phalam in one janma. So the body has been purchased by us, because of all the punyam, excess punyam, we have landed ourselves with a human birth. So right in the beginning, Acharya said that Durlabham Trayameva Etat Daivanugraha Hetukam Manushyatva Mumukshutva Mahapurusha Samshayaha. So the body should be used for what purpose? It is a moksha dwaram. For this anadi avidya kalpita bandhanam, to be free from that. So it is a residence, it is an abode. It's like a costume for the jiva, pararthaha. And so what must we do? Have constant satsanga. Hita sujana guruhu, gurujanas. So those who are wishing hitam and who are sajjanas, the wise people, may one, take to their satsanga and keep these vishayan, vishayan ati durat. Ati durat means at a safe distance, and that is called vairagyam. So if one does not do that, if one continues, chasing worldly pleasures and still desires freedom and peace and happiness, then Acharya says it is like we have mistaken the crocodile for a log of wood, and one is trying to cross the river, on top of that log like crocodile. Yeah, it will not take us there. Hmm? And so you see how Acharya is devoting so many verses to describe the nature of Sthula Shariram. From 72nd verse, it will go all the way up to 92. 20 verses. So, what are the constituents of Sthula Shariram? What is the nature? And what is the characteristics? What is the role of Sthula Shariram? All because Acharya wants to show us that the Sthula Shariram is not you. It is a kshetram. It is Drishyavastu. It is Drishyavastu, and if one has still the I notion in the Deha Abhimana, that is the Moha. Moha that Acharya wants to dispel. So whether it is the world or one's own body, may one, it is mithya because drishyatvat. Both can be perceived, both can be observed. And in fact, this word deha comes from the dhatu dih. Dah. Dah means to burn. So dahana yogyaha iti deha. And shariram, shirya swabhavatvat iti shariraha. Shirya swabhava means that which is creaking, crumbling, leaking. It is shirya swabhavaha. So, but at the same time, remember that nahi nindya nyaya we once saw. Even though Acharya says, idam sthula shariram nindyam is despicable, and why are you so obsessed with it? It is full with waste and all kind of secretions inside. Still, we have to appreciate and be grateful for the human birth because it is the boat to take us to the other side of samsara. So that nahi nindya naya is to be very objective about it. Here, Acharya is only criticizing the moha, the excessive deha abhimana with respect to one's body. Okay. So then, in the end, Acharya said that Jahi means destroy this moha through Viveka and claim the Vishnu Swarupaha. Vishnu Swarupa is the moksha prapti. Here, even while being embodied, and that is what Jivan Mukti is all about. So now let us move on to the 87th, 88th verse. This is 88, no? 88 verse. So we are going to see some more verses on Sthula Shariram and a very elaborate analysis Acharya is doing here. पंचीकृतेभ्यो भूतेभ्यः स्थूलेभ्यः पूर्वकर्मणा समुत्पन्नमिदं स्थूलं भोगायतनमात्मनः अवस्था जागरस्तस्य स्थूलार्थानुभवो यतः पंचीकृतेभ्यो भूतेभ्यः Yeah. So panchikritebhyah bhutebhyah स्थूलेभ्यः पूर्वकर्मणा Samyak utpannam idam sthulam bhoga ayatanam atmanaha avastha jagaraha tasya sthula artha anubhavah yatah. So this shloka is going to tell us how is the physical body formed? How did it come into existence? We already know. Now, why? What is the role of the physical body? So the first quarter, panchikritebhyah bhutebhyah sthulebhyah, referring to the pancha tanmatras which have undergone the panchikaranam. The grossified five panchamahabhutas are what? Samanya karanam for all the sthula shariras. That is the universal cause. Be it any jantu, jiva jantu in any loka, these are the fundamental building blocks. The grossified panchikrita pancha mahabhutas. But then don't we see a difference in the sthula shariras? Some are born, long baby, short baby, heavy baby, fat, thin, healthy, unhealthy, or to which parents, in which loka, in which yuga. How does one account for the differences in births in the sthula sharirams? Purva karmana. So, this law of karma, it is non-verifiable, and across the Hindu nations, definitely it is accepted, yeah, because that is our culture. So the law of karma says that this is the reason. This is called Vishesha Karanam. So Vishesha Karanam, that one takes birth under certain circumstances, the nature of Sthula Shariram, to which parents, and that is determined by Purva Karma. So that is what the shloka says. So idam sthulam shariram samyak utpannam. Samyak utpannam is very intelligently put together. We cannot but admire it. So our mothers did not know how all these functions. Liver should be here and the kidneys functions, but yet the sthula shariram is born and everything is functioning as it should be. So, samyak utpannam idam sthulam. Then, what else is sthula shariram? Bhoga ayatanam. Atmanaha. Atmanaha means jivatmanaha. For the jiva, and when was the jiva born? The jiva was never born. The jiva is anadi kala going round and round. But the body is born. There is a point of origin for the sthula shariram. But atmanaha, for the jiva, this body is what? Bhoga ayatanam. Bhoga ayatanam means it is a residence. It is a place, counter or office. Office where all the karmas are going to be reaped, are going to be experienced. Papa karmas will translate it into some dukkham situations, and punyam in our account will give us happy situations, favorable situations. So the body will have to go through both. And that is called bhoga ayatanam atmanaha. Even jnanis, if you see, jnanis, they also suffer from cancer and fractures and accidents. Happen to them also. Then if you wonder what is the use of vidya, vidya has to do with gaining knowledge in the mind. But the sthula shariram will have to go through already all those experiences. Now, prak arabdha iti prarabdha karma. Then the last line is avastha jagaraha tasya sthula artha anubhava yataha. Now, sthula artha means the gross objects. We have seen this panchikrita panchamahabhutas form the entire jagat. And the jagat is a place where we enjoy shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasagandha. That is called sthula artha anubhava, experience of the gross objects of enjoyment. Now, in which state can they be enjoyed? Obviously, waking state. Jagaraha avastha. That is the last quarter. So, Sthulartha Anubhava, experience of gross objects takes place only in the waking state. Why? Because in the waking state we are all Vishwaha. Our Sukshma Shariram and Sthula Shariram are fully available to us. We can talk to people and we can transact with them, we can travel and we can do yoga. So, you see, Sthula Shariram makes so many things possible for us. Communication right now, you had to travel to come here, offline students. Online students had to travel a little bit less and just sit and log in. For all this, we need a body. So the body is very much to be appreciated as a counter for sadhana. So the last quarter says, in the waking state alone, the sthula body is going to undergo all the experiences. Then what happens in the dream? Another body. There is a dream body and dream sense organs, dream transactions. But there is no sthula artha anubhava because sthula shariram is not available. Okay. So in dream, there is an imagined body projected by the mind and all the vasanas. पञ्चीकृतेभ्यो भूतेभ्यः स्थूलेभ्यः पूर्वकर्मणा समुत्पन्नमिदं स्थूलं भोगायतनमात्मनः अवस्था जागरस्तस्य स्थूलार्थानुभवो यतः 89 बाह्येन्द्रियै स्थूलपदार्थसेवा स्रक्चन्दनस्त्र्यादिविचित्ररूपा करोति जीवः स्वयमेतदात्मना तस्मात् प्रशस्तिर्वपुषोऽस्य जागरे बाह्येन्द्रियैः स्थूलपदार्थसेवा करोति जीवः स्वयमेतदात्मना तस्मात् प्रशस्तिर्वपुषोऽस्य जागरे. Yeah. So this shloka talks about the role of the Sthula Shariram. Earlier we saw how was it put together by Panchikrita Panchamahabhutas and Karma. Now, what is the role of the Sthula Shariram? Bahyendriyaihi Sthula Padartha Sevam Srak Chandana Stri Adi Vichitra Rupam Karoti Jivaha Swayam Etadatmana Tasmat Prashastihi Vapushaha Asya Jagare. So, the two words we'll take first, Jivaha Karoti. No? That is, we Jivas, we perform or we engage in. Jivaha Karoti. What? Sthula Padartha Sevam. Sthula Padartha Seva means simply enjoyment of Sthula objects. No? So, enjoyment or experiencing sense objects with what? Bahya Indriyahi, by our sense organs, external sense organs. So, Bahyendriyahi Sthula Padartha Seva Jivaha Karoti is the main sentence there. Then what kind of seva, what kind of activities? Then there are Srak, Chandana, Stri, Adi, Vichitra, Rupam. So Srak means garlands, no? Garlands. So when we, when we welcome a Mahatma, yeah, of course we, admire the Mahatma with Purna Kumbham and Pada Puja and we garland and offer vastram and all. But it is all put on the Sthula Shariram, right? So Srak, so garlands, or we, when we do Alankara to ourselves after a bath, is it not to the Sthula Shariram? We put flowers in the hair and necklace and kundalam and anklets and all that. For Sthula Shariram. That is meant here. Like what kind of seva? Srak. Then chandanam. Chandanam means sandalwood paste. And we can extend it to perfumes, fragrances, and lepa, all kind of lotions, body lotions people are putting on. Chandana. Then Stri Adi. Stri Adi means people of various kinds, with children, with women, and all genders. There is interaction, Vyavahara. How are we interacting? The Panchabhautikam bodies are interacting with each other. Stri Adi Vichitra Rupam. So all kinds of activities are there, a company of people and diverse forms. In attractive ways, there is interaction and vyavahara through the sthula shariram. Jivaha karoti sevam. And etad atmana means identified with the sthula shariram. So there is a strong I notion in the sthula shariram. Is it not? Sthula Shariram is Nama Rupa. That Nama is my name. So the names and forms are interacting with other names and forms of diverse variety. Vichitra Rupam Sri Adi Srak Chandana, Sthula Padartha Sevam Jivaha Karoti. That's the main sentence. Then what the last quarter says, Tasmat Prashastihi Vapushaha Asya Jagari. Prashastihi means importance. That is the role, that is the importance for the Vapuhu. Vapuhu means body. So for this body, it is a tool for communicating, for transacting in the world. No? And in which world? Jagare, waking world. Yeah, in the waking. That is why right now, if we are all awake, we are all kartas and bhoktas. No? We are full-fledged Vishwaha. But in the dream, there is no karta. Are they deliberate, premeditated actions in the dream? No. It is all vasana projections by the mind. So there is only bhokta there. No? So we do suffer and enjoy in the dream. Isn't it? So that's why we wake up frightened or happy or whatever be the case. So bhokta eva, swapne. But jagare, there is a prashastihi, importance. No? This, in the waking state alone, we can perform dharma, karma, karyas, role playing, and contact people, answer the missed calls on the mobile, and travel, and do so many activities. So all this happens by the bahyendriyahi. Now, we have seen often that in the Sthula Shariram, there are these golakas. Golakas means like the eyes, physical eyes, ears, nose. They are the physical counterparts of the subtle faculty of sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. You see how intelligently Bhagavan has placed 4 organs, sense organs in the head. Where is the 5th? Whole body. All over the body, the skin, up to the tip of the hair follicle and the nail. That's why we can cut nails and hair. But the skin is able to detect, oh, it's too hot, I must take away my finger. It's too rough, it's hurting. And the skin organ is the largest organ all over the body. And the other 4 sense organs are in the head. But again, here there is a beautiful hardware software compatibility. The sense of sight, has to match the physical eyes. They have to be compatible. Some people have eyes, but there is no sight. Some people have sight, but eyes are not there. Like recently, when I went to Rishikesh, one sadhu, suddenly what happened one day, the eyelids could not be held open. So they just closed and remained closed. That ability to keep it open and blink had gone away. So how subtle all these faculties are. So this is called golakam. Golakam is the physical organ which is there in the sthula shariram. And so this is the vichitra. In wondrous, diverse ways, we are able to communicate with the Jagat through our sthula shariram. 89 once again. बाह्येन्द्रियैः स्थूलपदार्थसेवां स्रक्चन्दनस्त्र्यादिविचित्ररूपा करोति जीवः स्वयमेतदात्मना तस्मात् प्रशस्तिर्वपुषोऽस्य जागरे. So, asya vapushaha prashasthihi asti jagare. That is, in the waking state, there is this important role for the sthula shariram, and that is what we just saw. Now, 90. सर्वापि बाह्य संसारः सर्वोऽपि बाह्य संसारः पुरुषस्य यदाश्रयः विद्धि देहमिदं स्थूलम् गृहवद्गृहमेधिनः सर्वापि बाह्य संसारः Yeah. So sarvaha api bahya samsaraha purushasya yat ashrayaha vidhi deham idam sthulam grihavat griha medhinaha. So again, continuing with the sthula shariram, Acharya says, is explaining samsara. See, samsaraha, the word itself means what? Samyak sarati iti samsaraha, which means jagat. Jayate gachati iti jagat. That's all. But in the context of Vedanta, we can extend it to how the samsara enters the mind. So here Acharya says that look at our sthula shariram. It's a gateway to the whole world. The gateway to India is in Mumbai on the coast. So sthula shariram, it is the key to the whole world, or it is the gateway to the world. And how? That is what Acharya explains. Sarvaha samsaraha api purushasya yat ashrayaha. So, this sthula shariram is the ashrayaha for the entire world. You know, like right now, we are all awake. So, the whole Jagat is there. We are right now experiencing Acharya's shlokas of the Viveka Chudamani with the Sthula, Sukshma, Sharirani. Okay. Now, when we go to sleep, so where is the Jagara Avastha? Waking world, where did it go? It vanished, disappeared. Yeah, why? Because Sthula Shariram is just lying on the bed. So if there is no Sthula Shariram, then there is no Bahya Samsaraha. Once, when I get up from sleep in the morning, what returns is the I notion in the Sthula, in the bodies. Mind also, no? The mind and then the body. So then through the Sthula Shariram, then everything becomes evident to me. Oh, this is Telangana. This is my home. Yeah, this is my bedroom. Everything. So the samsara is there. They both rise together and fall together. Is it not? So when we are awake, waking world is there. When I've gone to sleep, waking world disappears. If there is no sthula shariram, there is no samsara. Sthula shariram is back, waking world is back. That is what Acharya is saying here. Purushasya yat ashrayaha. So, this ashrayaha, the sthula shariram is the ashraya. Ashraya means support, the basis. The basis for the entire waking world is sthula shariram. Yeah. And so, at the sthula level, look at all our conclusions. The tadatmyam, leads to conclusions like I'm young, I'm old, I'm fat, I'm thin, tall, dark, fair, And then through the body, I say, I am the son of so and so. I am the wife and husband of so and so. Yeah, I am the child, I am the parent, I am the boss. All because of this Sthula Shariram. So, through the body, I am connected, related to so many other people and connected to the whole world. But where are all these relationships and possessions in the dream state or in the deep sleep state? They all disappear. No attachments, no relationships, no me, mine in the deep sleep state. Where did they go? They were all withdrawn into the Karana Shariram. And so here Acharya says the entire prapancha, the Jagat, the Bahya prapancha is dependent on the Sthula Shariram. I have to give reality to the world to say the tree exists. You know, this person, I see this person, so I talk to the person. No? So that is only possible through the Sthula Shariram. And in the dream Jagat, of course, there is a different dream body and dream sense organs. Now, actually, we all know that we are not this body. No, in our culture, why do we perform Shraddha and Tarpana? We know that the departed people, the body was left behind, got recycled, and they must be in their Sukshma Sharira in some loka. So that is why we are doing prayers and rituals so that that punyam may go towards them. So there is an understanding that one is not the Sthula Sharira. It is just a costume. It is taken for one birth, and then birth after birth, we need the Sthula Shariram. So that is what here Acharya says in the second line, Vidhi. No. Know what? Idam sthulam deham grahavat. Grahavat means like a home. Navadvare pure dehi. Gita, shloka. In the Gita, Katha Upanishad, did we not see that the Jiva is the resident in this 9-gated or 11-gated body city? Same idea here. Grahavat, Graham. So this body is a Graham, is a dwelling place. In fact, it is a rented apartment and rented out for a lease period. Okay. And for whom? Grihamedhinaha, the last word. Grihamedhinaha is actually a Vedic usage. It comes in the Vedic rituals and mantras. So, Grihamedhin Shabda. So, Grihamedhi is the one who is entitled to a Griham. And who is that? Grihastha. Correct. See, in all the 4 ashramas, see, brahmacharis don't have their own house. And vanaprasthis are also as good as don't have a home in the sense that they have to be in a forest like place detached. And sannyasis also are in the Gurukula. So it is a grihastha who builds a home and who does griha pravesham, invites the purity, the mantras and Bhagavan's presence, and then moves in. So here Acharya is saying similarly, the body is also a temple. So temple and meant for spiritual sadhana. For this grihamedhi. So just like a grihamedhi lives in a home, yeah, but is not the home. So too, the jiva is dwelling in this griham-like body home, but it is distinct from them. Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan na karayan. Gita shloka, we have seen that. So that is the nature of this Sthula Sharira. 90th. सर्वापि बाह्य संसारः पुरुषस्य यदाश्रयः See, here some commentators they divide this bahya samsara is the visible objective world, but there is an antara samsara, no? So even when we are sitting alone, no, but still there are a lot of vrittis in the mind. We are worried, most of the worries will be centered on the Sthula Shariram. What will happen? I am aging. Who will take care of my children or me? All these thoughts, come to us, which are mostly centered on the Sthula Shariram. So here it is the world, the world that we actively engage in, that we can see, hear, taste, touch, smell. It is all through the Sthula Shariram. That was the idea. Now let's go to 91. Now, after describing, the Sthula Shariram, we saw the constituents, the Saptadhatus, and then how it was put together by the Panchikrita Pancha Mahabhutas. Then what is the role of the body? Now we are going to see what is the nature, the properties, the gunas or characteristics of the Sthula Shariram in Shloka 91. Such a deep analysis by Acharya. स्थूलस्य सम्भवजरामरणानि धर्माः स्थौल्यादयो बहुविधा शिशुताद्यवस्थाः वर्णाश्रमादिनियमा बहुधा मया स्युः वर्णाश्रमादिनियमा बहुधा मया स्युः पूजावमान बहुमान मुखा विशेषाः स्थूलस्य सम्भवजरामरणानि धर्माः So what are the various features of this gross body, Sthula Shariram? What are the dharmaha? Sthulasya dharmaha and all the other words. Sambhava jara maranani, 1. Staulyadayaha, 2. Bahuvidaha shishutadi avastaha, varnashramadi niyamaha, bahudha amayaha sihu, puja avamana bahumana mukha vishesha. Okay, so Sthula Shariram, the Sthula Shariram has to endure a lot of things in life, and all that is explained here beautifully, by Acharya. So there are many properties. Bahudhaha dharmaha santi for the Sthula Shariram. Let's take the first one. Sambhava jara maranani. Sambhava means samyak abhavat. Very well, perfectly put together, the janma. That is the point of origin. And once the janma starts, already jara has started. So jara is not, when we hit the 60s and the 70s and we join the senior citizens club, that is not jara. Jara is aging. And the newborn baby, when it is born, jara has begun. Jara has begun, and that is the clock is ticking. So Sambhava Jara Maranani Dharmaha. So Tattvabodha also we have seen this. Sthula Shariram is Shatvikaravat. Has to go through the cycle of changes. Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati. This is the cycle of change. Now, this changes happens to whom? Sthula Shariram. Yeah. The Sthula Shariram goes through these changes. When we celebrate the Shashtyabdi, 60th, what are we celebrating? We're celebrating our birth constellation. So 60 Samvatsaras have, completed one whole circuit, and we are back in the birth constellation, which is very auspicious, and we celebrate. So all these rituals we do, calling priests, is all for the health of the Sthula Shariram. May you live till your Shatabhishekam and so on. But then the Jara is continuing. Yeah, Jara is continuing. So how will the Jara manifest in the Sthula Shariram? teenage turbulence, wrinkles and gray hair, low immunity, and then all these, memory loss, sight loss, ear loss, muscle loss, all these will happen, and we have to take proper care. Yeah, so intelligent care. So we do not discard and reject the body because it's, filled with waste and sweat and pus and so on. No, we have to have an objective view and give it proper diet, exercise, rest, meditation, so we can age gracefully. That's the idea. So Jara need not be a frightening, concept, but if we take care, then we can live a very healthy and happy life. So there is also the message here that this is the fact of the Sula Shariram. That is, no matter what Kaya Kalpas and rejuvenation therapies we do, it will have to go through Jara, and then finally Maranam. Yeah, this is the Jiva Yatra. Yeah. And so before that, all these problems, we have BP, cholesterol, loneliness, alienation, this, that, all these, we have to take care, address it, intelligently. That's the idea here. So this set, Sambhava, Jara, Marinani, is the first set. Let's move to the second, Sthaulya. Now, Sthulasya Bhavaha iti Sthaulyam. So Sthula means, Puja Swamiji will say, look at your Madhya Pradesh. So as we advance in age, Madhya Pradesh is going to gain volume, stomach region, and Madhya Pradesh is the largest state in Bharat. So then as we age, the Sula Shariram can wax and it can also wane. Yeah, it can get discolored, or this lameness can happen, stoutness can happen. So Staulyam Adi Padartha. Yeah, all this can happen to the Sthula Shariram. Bahuvidaha, then Shishutadi Avasthaha. Shishu means a baby. Now, the Sthula Shariram goes through Shishu, etc. avasthas. So, this is not the Jagrat Sapna Sushupti Avastha. Balyadishvapi Jagradadishu Tatha Sarvasvavasthasvapi. That is the state of Balyam, Kaumaram, then Yauvanam, Vriddha Avastha. Four main stages, no? Now, when the Sthula Shariram goes through Balya Avastha, it may or may not be very pleasant because the poor child is so sensitive, so vulnerable, cannot communicate its problems. Yeah, there is suffering there also. Yeah, and then Yauvan, and then next is Kaumaram. Oh my God, teenage turbulence is there, hormonal changes, all happening in the Sthula Shariram. Whether it is inside the body or on the body, it is still Sthula Shariram, Kaumaram. Then Yauvanam. Yauvanam is a struggle to settle, down with career and home and family and travel and all this. Still, with the help of Sthula Shariram, we go through Yauvanam. And finally, Vriddhavastha. Creaking joints will be there, Then sometimes memory loss and even dementia, all these problems can come, may not come. That is why we should all learn Sanskritam. So Sanskritam and chanting keep the mind fresh, and that is why in our culture also Parayanam is such an important, step and very intelligently planned. Vishnu Sahasranamam, all these. So Shishuta, Adi Avastha, referring to these four stages here. Then what next? The list is not complete. Varnashramadi Niyamaha. So Niyamaha, are the rules. Yeah, the rules pertaining to the Varnashrama. Chaturmaya Srishtam, Krishna has said in the 4th chapter. That is, I have made the fourfold classification, worldwide. That is, people will belong to a certain Varna. No? Now, again, Varna is based on The birth, not, no. So Varna, it can be based on the guna or karma, profession or jati. But here, since we are discussing Sthula Shariram, we are taking the jati based Varna. So when the child is born, in a Brahmin family, then obviously the Varna is jati Brahmanaha. But again, it has to do with the Sthula Shariram. So at the age of 7, the parents will have to do Upanayanam for it. So you see, we are describing the stages that the Sthula Shariram has to go through in life. So then the different Varnas and at the different ashramas, what all do the Sthula Sharirams go through is described here. So and to which parents one is born, so all that, how the dress code will be different for different varnas, and the niyamaha, the rules will be different, all centered on the sthula shariram, right? The ceremonies, and in fact we have these 42 samskaras, isn't it? Karna Vedanam, and then Anna Prashnam, and then this Upanayanam. And finally, Antyeshti is also done to Sthula Shariram only. Yeah, the final Agni, Karyam. So that is the Varnashrama Adi Niyamaha, is yet another features of the Sthula Shariram. So Bahudha, next, Bahudha Amayaha Sihu. Amayaha means disease, afflictions, So Bahudhaha Amayaha Sihu. See, some disease is bound to come by our prarabdha, right? And because the body has to confront the tapatrayam, Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika, Adhyatmika will be there. But then if we live the wrong lifestyle, we're browsing until midnight and then not getting adequate sleep and improper diet, then we add the amayas, So here it says Sthula Shariram Bhavam, it has to go through so much problems, So that is, some can be avoided, no? And so Bahudhaha Amayaha Sihu is right from birth onwards. There is some affliction or the other. All of you parents know that how children, how many colds and coughs and things you've battled with. Then slowly there will be other problems also. So that is why today we don't have a general Vaidyaha. We have specialists for every part of the body. Pulmonologist is lungs, then cardiologist, heart, pediatrician, children, then skin doctor, dermatologist, then for the kidneys, someone else, ENT specialist, nephrologist, so neurologist. So we have one area of expertise for every part of the Sthula Shariram. And they're still evolving more, fields of expertise here. So Bahuda Amayaha Syuhu. And then what is the next features? Puja, Avamana, Bahumana. So when we do, in many cultures like our culture, we do Devi Puja, we do Suhasini Puja, Kanya Puja. So to the beautiful Kanyas we just did in Navaratri, it is to Sthula Shariram. Then when we do, Matra Devo Bhava, Pitra Devo Bhava, we worship the physical form and feet of our parents. Then of course Guru Pada Puja we do, and then offer Purna Kumbham, all because there is a Sthula Shariram. So puja will be there. But then there is also at times avamanam. Avamanam, we just have to watch a parliamentary session. So there will be tomatoes flying in the air, eggshells, even chappals, So the Sthula Shariram can also be the recipient of apman, avamanam. And then Bahumanam also, it can be praised, when people are invited to receive awards and titles, how beautifully they're honored. So that is also thanks to the Sthula Shariram, right? So then, and that concludes that list. Puja, Avamana, Bahumana, Mukha. In various ways, Visheshaha, we see that this is, the nature, the dharma of the Sthula Shariram. Okay. Let's read this. स्थूलस्य सम्भवचरामरणानि धर्माः स्थौल्यादयो बहुविधा शिशुताद्यवस्थाः वर्णाश्रमादिनियमा बहुधा मया स्युः. And that is why Krishna has said in the 12th chapter, I think, Tulya Nindastatir Mauni, be a Udasinavat. Whether there is Ninda or Stati, you be Tulyam. Let us abide in our true Atmasvarupa Anandam. Udasinavat. And also, having understood that this is the cycle of change that every Sthula Sharira must go through, we must be ready to accept change and not resist the change, including the last chapter, Maranam. So Vedanta shows that dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram dehin chara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatra namuhyati. Very beautiful shloka in chapter 2. So Krishna has said the body goes through all these stages, Balyam, Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Riddha, and then at the end it will attract another Stula Shariram in the next birth. So Dhiraha Tatra Namuhyati. So why are you worried, Arjuna? So that Upadesha was given in chapter 2. Now let's go to 92, second verse. And this is, yeah. So now with the 91st we have to do, no? Over. Okay. So now with the 91st shloka, the topic of Stula Shariram is over. So with that, Acharya has addressed the Anatma Stula Shariram. Now, Acharya moves to the next Anatma, which is subtle body. Sukshma Shariram is also Anatma, intelligently put together. Again, what are the constituents, what are the properties, dharmas, what is the role, all that we are going to see. Very detailed. And then again, Karana Shariram will follow. So up to 123rd verse of Viveka Chudamani, 3 bodies are going to be covered elaborately. So let us see the 92nd shloka now. Sukshma Sharira topic. बुद्धीन्द्रियाणि श्रवणं त्वगक्षी घ्राणं च जिह्वा विषयावबोधनात् वाक्पाणिपादागुदमप्युपस्थः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि प्रवणेन कर्मसु बुद्धीन्द्रियाणि श्रवणं त्वगक्षी घ्राणं च जिह्वा विषयावबोधनात् वाक्पाणिपादा. Now, Sukshma Shariram is our current topic, and this will also continue up to 107th verse. Now, you see, there is a lot of punarukti. No, punarukti means repetition in the Shastra. Is that a doshaha? No, naisha doshaha, Acharya will say. Do we find it boring to hear the same thing again and again? Panchikaranam and Stula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram. How many times have you heard it? No. Rather, it reinforces the idea. No, Maya is always there to veil all these truths from our sight. No, so we get a new angle of understanding, and it reinforces, the vairagyam. That is the settles in the mind. It settles in the mind, exactly. So here, what is the sandhis here? Buddhindriyani, referring to jnanendriyani. Obviously, what are they? Shravanam, tvak, akshi, granam, jihva. Very simple. Then for what purpose? Vishaya avabodhana, for gaining of vishayas. Then karmendriyani, vak, pani, pada, gudam, api, upasthaha. Karmendriyani, pravanena, karmasu. So very simple shloka here. And how Acharya describes the constituents of the Sukshma Shariram, we already know. Either there are 17 Saptadasha or Ekona Vimshatihi 19. We will see all that. But in this shloka 91, 5 Jnanendriyani are mentioned and 5 Karmendriyani are mentioned. So Jnanendriyani are like the intelligence bureau. They are the data reporters, right? The Shravanam, hearing, Tvak is the sense of touch, Akshi, sight, Granam is smell, Jihva is taste. So they all bring in what? Knowledge. They are pratyaksha pramanas. They bring in data of Vishayas. That is why Vishaya avabodhanat. What is the role of Jnanendriyani? Data reporters. They are like the detectives, bringing in intelligent information. Now, the second line is describing the karmendriyani. For whom pravanena karmasu. For those who are inclined to do karma. For the active people, they have to now respond. Now, if I see a person coming, my eyes have reported this person. Yeah, now that data is presented to the mind. Now the mind has to analyze and understand, okay, now what to do. Then we have the karma indriyani to respond to that situation. Am I going to welcome the person, or am I going to, ignore the person? Yeah, it all depends on my mind. So here again, we see the Sangraha is described here. How the 5 Buddhindriyani, the Jnanendriyani are the organs of knowledge, and Karmendriyani, what are the Karmendriyani? Let's see the list. Vak, speech, then Pani is hands, Pada, feet, Gudam is the elimination system, and Upastaha, the reproductive genitals. So all these are by which one engages in action, responds, karmendriyani, pravanena karmasu, engaged in actions. Let's see the next one. Buddhindriyani shravanam tvagakshi, ghranam cha jihva vishayavabodhana, vakpanipada vivastha, karmendriyani pravanena karmasu. Now we'll see next one briefly. Now these are about the Karmendriyani, Jnanendriyani. Now about the mind. No, the verse 93 talks about the mind. Nigadhyatin karanam manodhihi aham kritischittamitis svavrittihi manastu sankalpa vikalpanadi